Happy Friday. Happy, rainy, ugly, just terrible weather Friday in Chicago. Hopefully it's the last time we have to deal with this for a while. Hello, this is the CHGO Bears Podcast presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. What's up, everyone? My name is Adam Hoge alongside Nicholas Moreano. We just came straight from Halas Hall. There's no joke out there. Good thing they practice inside today, Nick.
Oh yeah, that would have been brutal if that was outside. Just to walk from Halas Hall to the Walter Payton Center, that was tough. You had an umbrella, I had my hood, but man, this weather does suck, like you said.
It was a classic Chicago day where like you're trying to use the umbrella, but the umbrella's just like flipping inside and out. It's like, what's the point of this? It's just easier just to get soaked. Brighter days are ahead, I think. I hope. But hey, we were there. The practice was inside. There were a lot of people, football players running around. Not many of them who we actually knew who they were. We knew the draft picks. We knew a few of the UDFAs. You even asked the head coach about a player, and the head coach didn't know who that was. So, hey, it's rookie minicamp.
Yeah, Adam, I did not mean to stump Matt Eberflus with the last question of the day, too.
You stumped the Flus.
I stumped the Flus. I did. Yeah. And again, not the intention there, but asked about Allie Green, the 6'3" corner from Missouri. Thought he looked good. And, Matt Eberflus did say that he wrote down his number, like a lot of us were doing, right? We don't know who all these players are, like number 31, he was there, or whatever. Yes. But it happened.
No, it did. And, that guy is 6'3". He's a tall-looking corner. That's why I wrote his number down. I think I put a little mark next to his name. I was like, yeah, he's interesting. That's what minicamp is for. However, we did get to talk to Kyler Gordon, the cornerback, the second-round pick, and Jaquan Brisker, also second-round pick. So those guys met with us in person today. Treston Ebner as well. And
Jones Jr.
That's right. And Bayless Jones Jr.
First one. Yep.
That's right. So we got some of those rookies today before practice, and then Matt Eberflus after practice. And we'll talk about all that stuff. I think that the headline today is hopefully not a big deal. Doesn't seem to be a big deal, but Kyler Gordon was kind of coming in and out of practice. It was kind of dealing with a calf thing, it looked like. And we were you and I were standing there like trying to figure out, is this just cramps? It looks like cramps, like the way they were treating it, but then he'd go back out there and then he'd struggle through it again. And so, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal. Matt Eberflus said he expects Gordon to be at practice tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it happened on one of the plays over the middle of the field. It was a pass intended for Bayless Jones Jr. And then Kyler Gordon kind of ends up on the ground. And then after that is where those cramps started happening, treating him with give him Gatorade. They brought the banana out, get that potassium in there, trying to, get him back into practice. But it's rookie minicamp, Adam. Shouldn't be a rush to get him back in.
No, yeah. There was one rep where he went back out there and you and I were both like, what are they doing? And then, and then he came back off. Here's the thing, though, that's a real thing. And I did ask Eberflus about this, is the fact that, it's been a long time since these guys have been on a football field, and at least on a football field doing football-y things, because in a real practice, because these guys have been training for the draft. And a lot of times when you're training for the draft, you're really training for your combine or your pro day, and you're doing different things than you would do for football. And so these guys haven't practiced in a while. They haven't been in the building. You got to be a little bit careful. And then meanwhile, I guarantee you this is one of the higher intensity rookie mini camps that's out there because of the HITS philosophy, the way they practice. And we heard it right at the start of practice day. You could already hear all the coaches like, hey, we're going 100%, every single snap, every single rep, the entire practice, because that's how we do things here with the Chicago Bears under this new head coach. And I think for some of those guys, it was a little bit of adjustment. Not only from probably maybe the way they practiced wherever they played college, but also just the fact that it's been a while since these guys have, been on a field for an actual practice.
Yeah, a little bit of honestly, Adam, like a wake up call because you heard those coaches were saying run, finish the drill constantly. So if there were any guys that were jogging at any point, even if they were doing just footwork drills where they're working on their back pedal and didn't go through the bag, like you heard those coaches being very vocal about it. Like that's exactly what they've been preaching, ever since the beginning here, since Eberflus has gone here. So some of these rookies that, like you said, maybe haven't been doing football activities. Well, now you're getting back to the swing of things and going to that high intensity again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I don't know. It's tough because other than like really general takeaways, and maybe for one thing I do talk about with these rookies is first impressions. So, and now when it comes to actually like football things, I pay more attention to first impressions, like when they line up against actual players who are going to be on the football team in training camp when pads are on, and how they kind of hang there. I think you get a really good idea. But when I say first impressions, it's like what these guys look like in person. So, Kyler Gordon, first impression, you see the movement skills that they talk about. Like you can see that footwork. With Jaquan Brisker, he's a big safety. Like, didn't he? He just, even when he was just in the media room talking to us, I was like, oh, that's he's listed at 6'1". He almost seems taller than that.
Yeah, Bayless Jones Jr. for me, when I just kind of seeing him walk in, he's like it fills out his frame pretty well.
He's put together.
Right? He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yep. I definitely noticed that as well. But yeah, with Kyler Gordon, I was really just for the portion that he was actually practicing in the beginning there, just looks really, really fluid in all of his movements, all the little drills that they did. And that's kind of what the coaching staff's looking at this point. They're seeing if they can retain the information that they're kind of giving these players all at once. Like there was a lot of stuff that they did in this first practice, but just seeing the movement skills in some of these drills. And I thought Kyler Gordon he just looks fluid, just looks like a natural, whatever he does, especially with that footwork, not taking those extra steps. And they were practicing punching out that football, like with Peanut Tillman being there yesterday. They were practicing that. And he just looks very fluid in everything he does.
I almost felt bad for the offensive players because every single time somebody would catch a pass, they'd get punched like 8 times. Because every single defensive player would just punch, and like most of them were missing the ball. I'm like, man, it doesn't make you want to catch a football around here.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of rib shots in there, right in the quad, wherever that hand actually lands. But that is what they're preaching: turnovers, takeaways, punching that football out.
Yeah. But you want to instill this right away with these players the second they walk in the door. So that's why they do that. And it's good. I mean, there was a lot of defensive backs out there too. And they were running them through all kinds of drills. And a lot of them had to do with ball, going after the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if you get your DBs doing that, it's obviously you work your way down, right? If all 3 levels are kind of preaching and trying to implement taking away that ball mentality. But yeah, they got in like groups of 3 at him. One guy punched out the ball. The guy behind him picked up the ball and ran with it. So it's like that's the mentality that they want each of these defensive players to kind of carry with them. Ball's on the ground, whether it's even if it's an incomplete pass, take that ball back. You never know. We've seen things like that happen with the Bears in the past where they didn't pick up a ball, referencing the Green Bay game. And yeah, that's what they want to instill though right early on.
Yeah, and there's a comment up there right now. I love that they had Peanut come in. I feel like that's something that the fans are definitely going to love. Charles Tillman's a fan favorite, and but it makes sense, and it shows you that when Matt Eberflus reached out to a bunch of former players when he got the job, which was something we knew about, and he told a lot of them, hey, come out to practice, and I just thought it was cool that so this was last night where Charles Tillman, because these rookies all arrived at Halas yesterday, and they had a team meeting, and Charles Tillman was there to talk to them. And you just hear Kyler Gordon, who said, the one thing about Washington is with Jimmy Lake up there, like they are big on their defensive backs. And this didn't surprise me at all, hearing that Kyler said that we watched film of Charles Tillman at Washington and practiced the peanut punch. So he was talking about that. And then he was like, apparently they were showing him, showing all the players a video of Charles. And then all of a sudden, here he comes, Charles Tillman. They didn't know he was going to be there. So that had to be pretty cool. And Kyler, that's basically what Kyler Gordon said. It was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, we see these highlights and then he actually is there to tell us about it. So probably a cool moment for those guys.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Kyler Gordon that question to see how, again, seeing all the film that they were watching on Charles Tillman, and then actually seeing him in person. But he perfected that craft there. And now that you're hearing that Washington was practicing it there, Kyler Gordon's already got I guess introduced to it, and now it's being implemented here with the Bears, and they're practicing it early on day one of rookie minicamp. You're just hoping that kind of translates to the season. Those turnovers can actually be replicated when football actually matters.
Yeah. So, the other thing with it, since we're talking about the defensive backs, this was not a surprise, but Elijah Hicks was not really practicing. He looks okay, but he was really limited to some walkthrough stuff without a helmet on today. He was out there a little bit. You could tell him like getting some mental reps. And Eberflus did not really give a timetable on his return. He suffered an injury back at the East-West Shrine game in practice. So that was something that probably cost him a little bit pre-draft, but he, they're going to have OTAs here in a couple weeks. I'm not sure when he'll be ready, but he doesn't look that far off, not really knowing specifics about the situation, but just the fact that he was out there and doing some movement stuff, I think was good. And you could definitely feel the energy from Elijah Hicks. Like that video everyone saw where he's, doing the jump, clap, push-ups and bringing the energy. He's like, I'm really like that. You can see that just from him being a cheerleader on the sideline today.
Yeah, and even like the stuff that he was able to do without a helmet, you hear Hicks's voice, like communicating to the other DBs, the linebackers there. He's pretty vocal. We saw that in the video. It's translating onto the football field, but that's just who he is. And that's also something like some of the other players kind of said in their press conferences, like they're just here and they're being who they are. And that's how you make those good first impressions. But yeah, Hicks, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do once he's, able to be cleared, can get that helmet going, and seeing what he can do on defense. But really special teams is where we're kind of looking to see how Hicks can make potentially an impact on this team early on.
Yeah. And the question is, can he make the team? I think so. Yeah. That's hard to say, not really having seen him in person yet, other than today and the limited stuff he did. But from what I understand, like they definitely feel like he's a guy who can bring depth at safety and be an, energizer bunny type player on special teams. And that carries a lot of weight. I don't think he's a question there. Would he be going for Eddie Jackson's job? Not now. Could he push that in the future if he really, hits? Sure, but I don't think I would be shocked if it barring
too
injury.
Far to too far to project at this point.
Jaquan Brisker and Eddie Jackson are probably your starting safeties there, but that doesn't mean Hicks can't make a push for the team. And by the way, this just coming out too, since we started the show, right off the top of the show, but the Bears signed a bunch of their draft picks here. They signed 7 of their 11 picks. It looks like the only ones who are not locked up at this point are the first 3 picks: Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Bayless Jones Jr., and then the 4th one is Zachary Thomas, actually.
Okay.
But Ja'Tyre Carter, Treston Ebner, Elijah Hicks, Braxton Jones, Doug Kramer, Dominic Robinson, all signing their rookie deals. So sometimes that takes longer than others. Again, it's not the whole class, but it's nice when you get those guys locked up and then you just know you're not going to have a problem later on. Remember the year Roquan Smith didn't sign his rookie deal until like 3 weeks into training camp. And never turned out to be that big of a deal, but always nice to have your rookies out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, I agree. Like, again, I remember that Roquan Smith not signing just lingered. It lingered and lingered and, eventually it got done. But yeah, it's you're seeing a few guys kind of sign their deals and moving forward. But, we'll give it time. It's day 1 of rookie minicamp, and we'll see once these guys all get signed.
Yeah. But so just kind of a footnote there that's worth mentioning. And they don't have to be signed to participate in rookie minicamp, obviously, but they, you got to have them locked up to play the season for sure. All right. The best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app. Use code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. So $2,000 in free bets, free CHGO membership, and a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker, all for making a $50 or more first-time deposit at PointsBet. Any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. Your home for live in-play betting just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's new feature, the live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, you can now build the perfect live NBA same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Watch live, parlay live, boost live with PointsBet. And online sign-up is available in Illinois. Download the PointsBet app right now. Register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. What are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Adam, I see in the comments here, Doug, why'd you stump Flus like that? Again, Doug, didn't mean to. Sorry, one of our YouTube commenters, but wasn't intentional. But what is intentional is me telling you about CHGO and how great of a place this is. And if you aren't a member at this point, guys, like, what are you waiting for? Members get access to all of our premium content from all of our great writers. If you are a member, Will and I wrote down 5 players we were looking for, and Allie Green was one of them. That's why I wanted to ask Eberflus about Allie Green today in his press conference. But you also get a free t-shirt of your choice when you become a member, and you get access to the members-only Discord, the CHGO Lounge, and of course, we have podcasts and live shows like this one on every single team in Chicago every day. So come join in this amazing family that is constantly growing here at CHGO.
Well, I'll tell you a couple of the numbers I wrote down. I actually wrote down the other 31, Treston Ebner, because the poor guy fumbled on his first carry.
Yep, I did see that. I did. But you also saw the defense rally, though, Adam. So it's like there's a benefit, and
you could see right away that they were punching at the ball, and I think it was like the third punch maybe knocked it out. Now, here's what I'll say too. That is an easy thing to do when you're in these practices where you can't actually tackle. One of the reasons why just constantly doing the peanut punch is not something you can get away with is because you still have to make the play. Like, you still have to tackle. And sometimes guys get caught trying to punch the ball away. And even if they end up bringing the guy down, you can give up like 5, 6, 7 yards just by going after the ball at first instead of bringing them down. So there is an art and science to it. So when people say, why don't everybody punch at the ball? Well, that's kind of why. I mean, you got to make sure you're making the tackle as well. You want to create those takeaways. So my point is, in a like an inside run where nobody can actually tackle you, it's easy to have like 5 guys just punch at the ball and have it eventually come out. I don't know how realistic that actually is.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to, have a bunch of defenders around the ball. So one guy goes for it. You have also someone securing the tackle, and, you work as a group. But yeah, if you're all punching at it, the guy's gated 5 to 6 yards, like, oops, we still got to take the guy down. Now,
I'm not trying to defend Treston Ebner. You still got to hold on the ball regardless. You should be, holding onto that thing tight enough that no punch is going to get it out. And but that's the other good thing about it, because you're trying to teach habits, and you're trying to teach those habits both ways. So yes, you're trying to teach your defenders to punch the ball out. You're trying to also, that helps your offensive guys to drill it in their heads that anytime in practice they're touching the football, somebody might knock it out. And so it teaches good habits right away from day one. And that's good.
Adam, someone who didn't fumble the ball, but just fills out his frame is Master Teague. From Ohio State. Like, you see him, and I'm like, wow, all right. Like, obviously we knew what he did at Ohio State. It was hard. He was hard to tackle. Seeing him up close and I guess from the elevated position we were at, it's like, yeah, that guy is a big running back.
No, he is. And that's how we always looked at Ohio State when I got to see him in person. He's not going to have quite the same level of speed. being that big, but he's a tough runner. He's somebody that you could definitely find a roster spot for in the right role. So he's one of the interesting undrafted free agents they signed. I'm seeing Sean Taylor's name pop up here in the comments a little bit. I don't know if that's just because Jaquan Brisker brought up Sean Taylor today, but there's one of the things I want to talk about was we talked to Jaquan Brisker today, and he just you can kind of understand that confidence and that presence that he has, that leadership that the Bears talked about. He kind of just gives off that vibe, but he did have a quote. He said, "I feel like I'm an old school safety." And he said that the safeties he admires are Sean Taylor, Ronnie Lott, and Troy Polamalu. So that's
good group to, that's a very good group. But he also mentioned too, speaking about that confidence, he's like, hey, Justin, like wanting to bet him for his jersey number because of the number 1 that he wore at Penn State. He's like, maybe they want to, have a bet there. And they said they had a bunch of good battles, but he's looking forward to competing against him now that they're teammates, obviously offense versus defense.
Yeah, I don't think you're taking QB1's number, though.
I don't think so either.
I like the confidence, though. I like the challenge, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, that's Justin's, but Brisker's up for, like you said, up to kind of compete, and that's exactly what you want to see out of, a young rookie coming in here, fighting. Still, Eberflus and Poles have mentioned, like, he's got to earn that starting spot opposite of A. Jackson, but just knowing who he is, how he's wired, I think he'll eventually get that.
Okay, I saw Earl Thomas's name up there. There's another one that we just went through. I'm glad Ed Reed. Yeah, I'm glad we're set. You know what? I think we're setting a realistic bar here. I think that's what we're doing here on this Friday. Eric Berry.
Oh yeah, that's just all some of the best
Eric
safeties.
Berry might be a more realistic one. I think Berry was definitely smaller, though. I feel like
he was
just off the top of my head without looking him up. That's the one thing about Brisker. I mean, 6'1", 199 pounds. Like he's definitely a taller, kind of lengthier center, but he likes playing in the box. Like he said that. He's like, I like playing in the box and kind of being one of those
being around the ball. That's kind of how he phrased it. Being around the ball, closer to the line of scrimmage. Yeah. I see in the comments here, Adam, where was it? I think it was from Riley. How did Kevin Shaw look? Like I didn't write too much about some of these wide receivers, but he did have a really nice catch down the right sideline. But Riley, that's all I have for a Kevin Shaw. He had a really nice catch down the right sideline, and yeah.
Okay, I'm glad that's number 81 because that was the one wide receiver I wrote down today. Was that catch? It was a nice catch. It was pretty much the only play that was worth writing down on that side of the ball. I felt like, or at least the only one.
Yeah, honestly.
So 5'10", 166, definitely a smaller guy, but he went up and got that ball out of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
One of
played
the
with Malik Willis.
agents. Yeah.
Kevin Shaw, yeah. Adam, I also thought Zach, like we're talking about guys, and again, first impressions we're seeing of these guys, but Zach Thomas, yeah, like we were saying, looks like a right guard.
Yeah.
Also a big dude and just looks like he, slotted to that position.
Yeah. So now that, especially because now he was, in that spot today, you definitely could see it. But to me, that's where he slides in right away. And yeah, I think among the offensive linemen, that was kind of the one big takeaway.
Yeah, they obviously, like, you're looking at some of the other draft picks that they had there. Like if you're looking for Braxton Jones, slotted left tackle, that's where he played in college. But yeah, another guy that playing in the same position that he did in college. We talked about that a couple times on this podcast. Like guys transitioning from college to the NFL. That's where he's slotted right now for the Bears.
Yeah, and you know what? I love with where this team is. They're gonna have a lot of these young offensive linemen when they get together in a couple weeks at OTAs. Now they're gonna be on. When we were at that mini camp in April, and we're like, who the hell's gonna fill out the backups? Like who? There's no competition here. Now you got like almost a full line of almost like a full offensive line of rookies with Doug Kramer at center and Jatire Carter out there, and I think Gene Delance, the undrafted free agent, is going to factor into a tackle. So all of a sudden you get these guys out there, and it's like, okay, Now you can run a second, third string, and there's a lot of youth. Doesn't mean that, a whole line of late round picks and undrafted free agents is going to work out. But if one of those dudes does, and I'm definitely going to continue to have my eye on Zach Thomas because he definitely sort of looks that part. I agree with you. In terms of first impressions, that was a good first impression.
I don't know why, for some reason, as I'm kind of thinking of I'm naturally I think of like comparisons for some reason. I think it's maybe the look and maybe even the number too. Now that I think about it, like I almost thought like Matt Slauson-esque, even though he was 68. Like I don't know why that kind of just went into my head, but that right guard position, we'll kind of see how it plays out with a Zach Thomas. But speaking of like old Bears and kind of like what some of these guys talked about in their press conferences, like Devin Hester's name got brought up twice today in terms of like comparisons. Tristan Ebner, I asked him like, hey, with having those return skills in college, was Devin Hester something you looked up to? He's like, absolutely, just putting on his highlights. But that's also someone that Bayless Jones Jr. also talked about, like why Devin Hester and how he's able to, really hone his craft at that position. That's something they looked up to.
Well, Devin Hester, it's pretty much an upset at this point when a new returner comes in and doesn't mention Devin Hester. Like the same thing happened with Jakeem Grant and pretty much every other returner that's been coming through here lately. So I definitely get it. Hey, good guy to be looking up to and wanting to have that type of impact. But I think there's only one Devin Hester.
There is. There honestly is, Adam. Before we kind of continue this conversation, though, I have to tell everybody about, PointsBet. If you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us to continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign up is available in Illinois. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook, easier than ever, so you can start your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
All right, and if you do get those memberships or you're thinking about getting the memberships, you need to know what comes with it. So if you've been here, you've already seen that we have podcasts and live shows on every team every day. We had some cool shows this week with the Crosstown series going on. The Cubs and White Sox teams kind of joined forces for some pre and post game. And that's a big part of this, our post game shows. Like you're going to want to tune in as soon as the game's over. I can't wait till we have those too. And in some ways, this is like a post game show today, like a post practice show with the recap, just without all the controversy that usually comes in a Bears game, and people being mad and angry and all that. But we also have premium written content for members at allchgo.com. So all of our coverage from the weekend, my Bears Things column that goes up every week, you can get all of that stuff and some great stuff from Nick and Will at allchgo.com for our members. And when you sign up, you can get that free t-shirt and join our members only Discord in the CHGO Lounge, which has been a fun place for fans to kind of convene and talk together during games. I've jumped in that White Sox Discord a couple times and done my own little ranting and raving as I tend to do about my White Sox. And in the CHGO locker, we have tons of great merchandise, t-shirts for all of our teams, and there's some really good looking shirts on there. They're very comfortable. I highly encourage you to buy them because not only do they look good, but they feel good as well. So that's everything we have going at CHGO, and if you haven't signed up yet on the membership, you should do that. So thank you for all the support there. All right. Want to get through a couple other things in my notebook before we get out of here and start the weekend. Couple things that I don't know how much.
Actually, Adam, before you get there, we have a comment here from Nicholas asking about Jack Sanborn sighting. Impressions. Yeah, they,
So I don't know how you. Why don't you go first? I feel like you've been. Everyone knows what I'm going to say, so you go ahead.
Yeah, no. He was out there starting with initially at that when they did the 7-on-7s and the base defense. Jack Sanborn was there. It's too early to tell for me. Again, what they were kind of doing. Again, there's no tackling. Everyone's kind of punching at the ball, but the Bears did have him slotted there first. And I think they actually had the Purdue linebacker next to him, Jalen Alexander, right? So they had the Big Ten representing the middle of that Bears defense. But yeah, nothing, I guess, stood out to me. But how about you?
Well, just what stood out to me was just how comfortable he looked like out there.
Sure.
He was the guy that was immediately kind of quarterbacking the defense, and the calls were coming in, and he's, he just looked like he knew what he was doing out there, right? With all the chaos that happens pre-snap. So that's pretty much just what stood out to me. And then same thing about Chris Bergen, the linebacker who's undersized from Northwestern, who's just on a rookie tryout, as I guess we cover all the Big Ten linebackers today. But Bergen did exactly what I told everyone he would do. He's out there. He's running around like a crazy man. If anybody fits the hits philosophy, it is that man. I don't know if he's big enough. I don't know if he's fast enough, all those types of things to really stick. But I know he definitely has the mentality that fits this team. And so in that regard, it would not shock me at all if he is actually given an opportunity beyond this weekend. But Sanborn's going to be around. Sanborn is somebody who's legitimately one of the UDFAs to keep an eye on, like not only now, but through camp. Can he push for that Sam linebacker job? I think that's actually a possibility. So we'll continue to break him down. And it was part of the linebackers in this new defense here for the next few months. And once we get into training camp as well. But I think that's kind of the other one was Maurice Kennedy, the corner, who's actually been in the league for a long time. He's bounced around, but he's been around for a while. He was out there with like a band around his legs.
I saw that. The resistance bands. Yeah. One of the coaches was like, get that off there.
Yeah, I was wondering at some point when they're about doing drills. Like, what was he doing?
Just getting those quads stretched out. But yeah, he did have that band on. I see a comment here, Adam, from Devin. Will Kyler's dancing background help him in some ways in the NFL? I actually asked him about that at the NFL scouting combine. Like, how does dance or kung fu actually play out in the NFL on a football field? He's like, it's really his ability to kind of move, obviously with his feet, but also just that contact balance he was kind of also talking about. It's like that's where dance comes into it. He was also asked today, like, what's your best dance, or what's your favorite? You end up going with ballet, but he said it was tough, but just a graceful football player. That's how you can look at it.
There you go. No, ballet is tough. And, if that, I don't know how many football players are coming through the NFL draft scouting reports with a background in ballet, but as unique as that is, I don't think it was probably viewed as a negative by anybody, because I feel like it definitely helped with your balance, flexibility, and agility, as our commenter mentions there. It is not easy to do. So I think that those now, I don't know how it results in or helps prevent cramps, because obviously that was an issue today. But I'm glad that that's all the issue was, because when you first see him kind of grabbing it, you're like, oh no, another top draft pick. The Bears have been down this road before.
Yeah, once that happened, I'm like, I know like the practice is happening, but my eyes just kind of went, where's number 6? Where's Kyler Gordon? Kind of leaning over the railing over there to see like, what they're doing, but looks like he's going to be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. We should also probably talk about Bayless Jones Jr. since we mentioned him a little bit off the top about how he seems, you can see just when you see him why he's a strong runner and why it's hard to bring him down, because he's definitely filled out in that frame. A couple things that he said that I think are worth mentioning. He has not seen Justin Fields in person yet. Obviously, Fields not at rookie minicamp because he's not a rookie, but he said that he's been texting and FaceTiming with Fields since getting drafted last week. So, they're already working on that rapport. Good question about why his career kind of took off at Tennessee after spending 4 years at USC and never really catching on offensively. And I liked his answer. It's just like, it was about playing time. Like, went to Tennessee, they put me in the offense, and I actually got the opportunity to do that. And obviously helped him get drafted by the Bears.
Yeah, and also something that he mentioned, like with his speed, he said that it kind of runs in the family. And I don't know if you heard him say this, Adam, but he's like, he mentioned his grandmother. Like that was the first person that he kind of mentioned with speed. And I should have just asked him a follow-up, like, wait, what did your grandmother do? Is she like a track star? Or is she just a fast grandma or something? I don't know. But he did mention that as a speed, but it took him a while. He said it was like his junior year of high school. That's when he started to peak and not only grow, but just get faster as an athlete.
Yeah.
I think Fast Grandma's coming to theaters this summer. Is that a movie title? Fast Grandma?
Okay. It sounds like it should be, right?
Could be, yeah.
I feel like
guys.
Hey, what's up?
I don't know. I'm just bored. It's Friday afternoon. It's very empty in the office today.
I was gonna say, are you the only one in there?
Joey's here doing bowls.
Okay.
Yeah.
The real backbone. The real backbone of CHGO, you and Joey doing all the hard work behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. Those are the real guys. I feel like every grandma possible movie has been cornered at this point.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just about.
Yeah, Fast Grandma. That's the next one. Bayless Jones was also asked about being a 25-year-old rookie. I loved his answer. You know, he's talked about being mature, all about business. He mentioned that he doesn't party, or at least he's not all about partying. I liked a lot of the comments I got on Twitter that were like, well, I was still partying when I was 25. But hey, man, everyone's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nothing wrong. It's like you just got to balance it out with everything that's going on. But he seems to be wired the right way, Adam, to be completely honest. Just with his answers and kind of that maturity that he's been talking about.
I'm just noticing what you have written behind you. Were you like playing a game to figure out how long I was going to notice that?
Adam, that has been up there. And I saw you getting close to the camera.
Yeah.
Man, when was that? That's been up there for a while.
Yeah.
So for people
funny.
who can't see that, it says Adam Hoge, work on your shot. But that was something we were talking about. It was a heavy basketball discussion on one of the podcasts. I'm like, all right, let me go over here.
Probably when we were talking about my height. That was like a month ago.
Yeah, so it's been up there for a while, but I saw you getting closer, and you're like, wait, is he? There it is. Right there.
It's so you got to be able to see it on my screen. Like it's not clear. It's small because of the way I have this set up in front of me too. So
yeah,
and it's also not very lit up. But I think I noticed all of a sudden my last name, and then I like looked at it closer. I'm like, okay, work on my shot.
Maybe I'll start putting like different messages on there. Maybe put it more center so you could see it. Like, what's the new message on the Friday show? Like that's
you're like something. You're like the Woody Page of CHGO. I get what you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do need to work on my shot. I don't even know what my shot looks like. It's been so long since I played basketball. The pandemic just killed the career. It sucks.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too, so I can also just put it on myself.
And I still see those tweets out there from Mason West. Like, I love to play. I'm just going to start lowering expectations because it's been so long. And I'll probably be cramping up too right away.
Just like Kyler Gordon.
Yeah. All right. Well, a lot of good stuff from rookie minicamp, and it's not over. We're not gonna have another show till Monday, but we'll still have coverage from Halas Hall throughout the weekend, and the coordinators are going to talk, so it'll be interesting to hear from them. And Luke Getzy will talk on Monday, so we'll get his first impressions with working with Justin Fields up close and all those types of things. So a lot more coverage coming from CHGO over the weekend, and I know we're looking forward to it. Also, shout out to all the mothers out there. Mother's Day on Sunday. I hope everybody
celebrate the mamas out there. And shout out to my dad. Birthday is tomorrow, and don't know what we're doing, but shout out to Papa Moreano.
That's interesting to have a birthday, Mother's Day weekend.
It's a lot going on.
Yeah. You got it. Yeah, I got you. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Hopefully everyone enjoys Mother's Day. Enjoy the Kentucky Derby. I saw on the score this morning that Ryan Poles put out Tis the Bomb as the winner, which is a long shot.
Oh, okay.
Now,
I'm going to put my money on that one.
I think he did it just for the name because he wanted to say Tiz the
Yeah.
Bomb. I'm not trying to say that he actually thinks Tiz the Bomb's going to win.
All right. So if you guys want to talk about the Derby, we just did this on the CHGO Bets show yesterday. We had Jim Miller, the director of publicity at Hawthorne Racecourse, and he helped us through a lot of things. And I think we're going with Messier. He's in the sixth post or whatever, sixth pole, whatever. So he's the Lawrence and CHGO Bets favorite.
I like it. So there's a real opinion.
Yeah. Or go with Tiz the Bomb because you like the name that.
Well, I can't have the Bears GM throw that name out there, and it's a cool name, and then have the regret if Tiz the Bomb actually wins as a long shot. Like you have to throw a little something on him then.
I mean, sure, yeah, and download the Club Hawthorne app on your phone. That's what I got. Go. I'm excited to be gambling tomorrow on horses.
Yeah, and check out our bet show too. Yeah. Streaming every single day along with all of our team shows.
Monday to Friday. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And
I hosted. I did my first ad read today. It was pretty exciting.
Wow. This was huge. I'm going to have to go back and check out the podcast, which is another thing people need to do. The podcasts are available. If you don't watch live, we appreciate those of you that do, but all the shows are available as podcasts. You can subscribe wherever you get your pods.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else, guys? Or I don't know.
No, it looks like you're closing up shop there, and it's Friday.
Yeah. Let's call it a day.
Yeah. I have a charity event I need to get to, and supporting CDAL up in Lake County and all this great work that they do with special ed kids, including my own. So looking forward to the weekend and giving love to all the moms out there. We appreciate you.
Let's go, moms.
For sure.
Go moms.
All right. Back Monday, 11 a.m., full rookie minicamp recap from everything that happened Saturday and Sunday. We'll get you what Luke gets. He has to stay and all of that. So follow us on Twitter, subscribe, check out allchgo.com, and most importantly, enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
In a world where one grandma was really fast grandma. Okay, that's it.